Hi guys, welcome to Memo's Tutorials. Today we are looking at the contraceptive methods that we use as women, mostly as women, to prevent pregnancy. The first ones, we have the natural methods. These natural methods, they include abstinence, which is this one is 100% effective, right? It involves a couple avoiding sexual intercourse. So in this way, sperms cannot come into contact with the egg, and there's no fertilization that will take place. And this is very effective, and it doesn't have any side effects, right? That's abstinence. What about rhythm? Rhythm is like you abstain from sexual intercourse during unsafe periods. Some people, they are very good at studying their menstrual cycle. They know when is their day 11 to 17, and they make sure they avoid sexual intercourse during those times, because those are their most fertile times. So when ovum occurs, it is indicated by the rise in temperature. Like when ovulation takes place, remember your temperature will rise above normal, and then you know that now you're ovulating and let me avoid sex. But then that's the advantages are it doesn't have any side effects, since there are no chemicals or barriers used. But the disadvantages of this method is that it is not reliable, since periods may be irregular. They are very irregular. Sometimes you go twice a month, sometimes you don't even go, sometimes, so it's very hard to work with it. It also imposes restrictions to sexual activity. It can also cause sexual frustrations. But then let's move on to barrier methods. The barrier methods, have got condoms. So this is just a strong lattice rubber sheet which is placed over an erect penis or inserted into the vagina before any sexual intercourse. So during ejaculation, the condom traps sperms and prevent them from reaching the uterus. The good thing about condoms is that they also protect us against STIs. But the disadvantage is that it's just a rubber, it can break. Number one. Number two, it slightly decreases sensation for males. Also, interruption of foreplay to fit it. At some point, you have to stop to fit it. That can be a disadvantage. And then we have the diaphragm. This is just a dome-shaped rubber device placed in the vagina to mechanically block entry of sperms into the cervix. It can be used with spermicides. The spermicides, they kill sperm, right? So the advantages is that it can be inserted a few hours before intercourse, so it's not gonna be a disruption. It also can be reused up to 2 years. You can use it as many times as possible. But the disadvantage of the diaphragm is that it must be prescribed and fitted by a physician. That's very important. Not anyone must just fit it in, otherwise you might put it wrongly. It must be inserted prior to coitus and left in place for several hours before intercourse. It must be placed before sexual intercourse, hours before. And it's also not suitable after 3 or more natural deliveries. It's not suitable after 3 or more natural deliveries. So it's a very limited way of contraceptive, right? But then we have what we call the intrauterine device. The intrauterine device, it is just a small plastic and a copper device. It's inserted into the uterus to prevent implantation of the embryo in the uterus lining. So it just prevents the blastula, the fertilized egg, to implant itself in the uterus lining. So the advantage is that it provides continuous protection. It is highly effective. It can last for about 5 years. It does not interfere with love making. It is suitable for older women. It doesn't matter how many times you've given birth. The disadvantage is now it can lead to cramps and pain. You can have pelvic infection. You can have increased menstrual flow. The coil may come out, and it must be inserted by a specialist. Meaning, if somebody just put puts it anyhow, it might bring more damage than the advantages. Okay, we have got chemical methods of contraceptives using spermicides. There are foams, there are jellies, there are creams. So this jelly, it's placed into the vagina before sexual intercourse, and it chemically kills the sperms. And so far there are no known side effects. It's very easy to use. It improves effectiveness of condoms or the diaphragm. The disadvantage is that it is not reliable due to high failure rate. It's best used in conjunction with diaphragm. You can just not use it alone. Use it maybe with the diaphragm or with a condom. It's messy. It's not just looks dirty. Also, it's used with every sex act. It must be applied not more than 30 minutes before sexual intercourse. Those are one of the disadvantages of using these spermicides, But then we have got what we call hormonal methods.